Hey everyone, this is meant to be just a short introduction video on how to get started. I know there's a number of you who have been asking are eager to get rolling on things. You'll see here on my Google Docs there's 4 different folders based on core subjects. You will have the appropriate folder shared with you as of today when this video comes with you. But if you were to open one of those folders up, we'll start with social studies. Inside that folder there's several things you can look at. This here, if you are a flowchart person, you're welcome to look at it. You don't have to, though, if you don't want to. The first slide, just wanted to bring to your attention, is kind of more for us as we're setting up the actual course and finishing it off. But it also kind of gives you a good idea of how a student might run through it and how a teacher could use the tool in a blended instruction. So you're welcome to look there. Again, it's not important for you to understand this part in order to get started. Then there's also this flow chart that's broken up into 2 halves, and my screen is not large enough to show you the other part. Let me get out here so you can see a little bit better. You'll see that on the left hand side it's planning and building resources, and on the right side it's develop lessons and units. And the purpose of this is really just to give you the idea that the planning and building of resources is all done first, and then we build the lessons inside the tool system. And that gets a little confusing, especially from a teacher standpoint, because we do scope and sequence, we do create or design our lessons over here. But when we're putting things together for what we're really doing is creating resources. And once we have everything in place, then we come over and we actually create or build the lesson inside the tool. So anyhow, use that if it helps you. If it confuses you, stop looking at it. Back to the Google folder, you'll also see here in each course you'll have your own little contract. All the contracts are the same. I just named them differently given your courses. You'll get an official one with your name and your subject that you're doing, and if you're doing a quarter or a semester or a full learn or a full year-long course added onto it. But what's nice about the contract here is it tells you what your requirements are. And it says build lessons and units in the learning management system. Units are composed of lessons which are defined as, and then these are how we're defining a lesson. Okay? If you go through the contract, it'll talk about what you have to do to sign off. Probably the thing to look at most is our 3 milestones and the dates. These dates are target dates. If you're someone who knows that you're going to be gone and need a little flexibility there, I'm more than happy to work with you on that, but those are kind of the dates we're going to shoot for to get things done. And you can see the first one excuse me, is in 4 weeks, and all we have to do to hit that one is we are going to do 50% of our lessons as defined above are completed on the scope and sequence document. Notice that nothing has to be loaded into the learning management system, so if you're someone who's confused, a little bit worried about getting into that learning management system, we don't even have to touch that yet. Although if you want to get into it, we will provide some assistance to you. The second milestone is the remaining 50% of the lessons are completed in scope and sequence, and all the lessons are transferred into the learning management system. This is due by August 4th. And finally down here, the milestone 3 is the assembly units, assembly or the building of the units with lessons and lesson assessments. And that goes very fast once everything's already in the tool. That's why we only gave ourselves 2 weeks. And you can see that your stipend is divided by percentage of those completions. So if we just jump back to our milestone 1, for those of you who want to get started, notice that we are giving ourselves 4 weeks to get this part done, and we want 50% of the lessons completed in the scope and sequence document. So that scope and sequence document you'll find in your course subject folder, and we can just at this point let's say that we are a government course developer. I will open up government. We'll get into here, And here's our document that we're going to use. Notice that it's color-coded. The brown areas are really for the teacher consultants. The green area is yours, and the red area is for our Craig, myself, or our intern Anna to upload some video links for you. So anyhow, what we've done here is broken down the lessons and given you a description. You have to create an introduction, a summary, essential questions, and then you need to also create your primary lesson video. And I'm going to jump back to that here in a second. This little column here, application reflection on what you have seen. This is more specific. I think ELA has been using this one. This is something you could throw in your summary if you chose to do it, where you're getting the student to, after watching the video, to kind of think about what they saw and to reflect. And it could be a piece where they maybe answer a question on the forum board or go right to the discussion board, one or the other. If you can't think of anything, you can also leave that blank there as well. Okay. In this box, we want you to put your additional resources. If you have your own resources, you could just put your links to those resources in this box. If you want to use resource in the IT tool, know that there's over 1,000 resources in there. You can go through and look for those, and we'll show you a little video on how to get to those resources. If you're going to do that, you might want to put the title of the resource here. It'll make it much easier later on when you're assembling everything together. Same goes for here. This is your formative assessment. If you are going to do your own formative assessment, you may want to give a short description of what you're going to do here, and then eventually you'll make that formative assessment and you'll put that ID number right here so you can easily find that later on. The other option, if you don't want to make your own formative assessment, is you can use the NWEA test bank. It's a 90,000 test bank question. There are some standards without those test bank questions, however, that happen. So again, we'll show you how you can maybe check on that. These are not things you have to worry about right at the get-go. For now, you can either put I'm going to use NWEA or just give a short description of what you're thinking about doing there for that formative assessment piece. And that brings us down to where the teacher consultants get involved. So by completing this column right here, from the top to the bottom, you would have completed the first lesson of Unit 1, and then you'd want to go through and complete the rest of those lessons. And so if you're working in government, I believe there's 6 units here, it might be 5. You're shooting at completing half of those units if you're working by yourself. And if you're working with a partner, since it's a 1-semester course, you're just doing a quarter, then it would be a little bit less. Okay. Either way, you want to shoot for 50% of that so that you can hit that milestone 1. So we just looked at the scope and sequence document. If you are ELA, you are following the same pattern that you use for 9th grade ELA and making a few adjustments, it sounds like, for 11th and 12th. If you're math, you have been given 2 different scopes and sequences from Allison Camp to choose from. But if you're social studies or science, we're using Curriculum Crafter to guide our lessons. And so we made an account. Some of you have personal accounts I've made, and I'm happy to make them for everyone if they wish to have their own. But just for simplicity, I created one that we can all use called IT Tool as a username. And the password is Course Developer, all lowercase. Ignore my dog. And once you're into the Curriculum Crafter, you will go to the instructional reports, and I find it easiest to go by course. And we will, since we've been sticking with government, we'll kind of stick with government for right now. Science will be set up very similar. So if we go to social studies and let's pick American government, I like to view by unit. And your scope and sequence should follow some path that's similar to here. And if you click on one of these units, that'd be your units for scope and sequence. If you open those up, then inside here are the documents, the PDF documents, that kind of break down individual lessons. So this could be lesson number 1. This could be lesson number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, it looks like, and so on. But again, as a course developer, you can combine or divide any of these lessons up as you see fit. And you're also able to use any of the resources that you see here in Curriculum Crafter. So hopefully that helps you get a head start on things, as well as starting to organize what this would look like.